Okay. Greetings to you all, you bright, blessed beings there on the earth plane. We are so glad to be with you again today. We come to you frequently, as you know, and we have come to you for a long time. And we say time in air quotes because where we come from, there is no time. Time is always now, time is always the past, and time is always the future, all intertwined. But where you live on that earth plane, and you as humans have to catalog your routines and your scripts and your structures and your days, and you have to make sense and meaning of when you're tiny babes all the way to when you are elders in your retirement. You need to have a sense of order and keeping track. And so you created this thing that you call time. It's funny because it's an ingenious way for you to keep track of your day-to-day comings and goings and your sun and moon wake-ups and sleeps. And yet your ancestors before you had other very precise ways of doing the same thing. You know about them from their calendars that they left behind, and from their stone circles that they left behind, and from their etchings on walls that kept track of the moon cycles. So it's just a different way of noticing. Instead of your mechanized, what you call clock time, there has been an understanding for the evolution of humans throughout eternity that there is a passage of this space from one place to another. But within saying that to you, we also want to acknowledge that you have a spiritual space that you reside in. You have your soul space that you reside in, and that space never changes. Your soul is your core essence and your true beingness. Your soul is your avatar. We've told you this before, but we'll share it again. Your soul is the thing that comes over and over and over, lifetime after lifetime after lifetime, to this earth plane, to have fun, to learn lessons, to grow, to become intertwined with other people that choose to incarnate at the same time as you, so that you can cavort and frolic and be free and make mistakes and have sorrows, yes, of course, but so that you can move beyond those. So let's raise this question to you now. If you come lifetime after lifetime after lifetime, one would wonder, why do you keep coming? What's the point? Well, it's simple. The earth plane is a beautiful place to play. Look at all those colors. Look at all those sounds. Look at all those beautiful textures that you adorn your houses with, and you drape your walls with, and you sleep between the sheets of, and you put on your bodies with. You have the most amazing textures. Look at all the amazing food that your physical senses get to ingest, the tastes and the smells and the colored vibrancies of all the variances. It's wonderful there. Not to mention, your animal kingdom is pretty spectacular. We have to say that we've been around the block a few times with many, many, many other communities and environments that are alive with consciousness, and there is none quite like yours. Your earth plane is very unique. All those creatures that you call the winged and the finned and the many-legged, they are remarkable. So we invite you to become more connected to them, in relationship with them, more appreciative of them. They are always around you, whether you live in a big city or out in the country. They're always with you. Whether you are in a high-rise building surrounded by lots and lots of other humans, or you're in a big palatial palace by yourself, there are animals all around you. They too have the ability to connect with you through your thought forms, through your spiritual senses, through your emotional senses. Those of you who have pets know this very well. You get a feeling for what your animal is trying to communicate to you. You get a feeling or a sensation or a knowing that your animal would like something to happen, and the animal cannot speak your human speak, and yet you know. Because when there is a shared relationship between one conscious being to another, and there is a vibrational harmonic frequency that is of likeness, you don't need to be in the same abilityness to understand each other. Think about human parents who are raising baby humans. It's the same, right? You understand what your child baby needs, and yet the child baby can't speak. All it can do is cry, or smile, or fuss, or laugh, or stare and wonder. And yet the parent is intimately connected to what the child baby needs. So we're going on a bit of a tangent here, which is quite fun for us. But we want to bring it back to the original question that we asked. Why are you choosing to come back all these times over and over and over as humanity? Well, think of yourselves as on a continuum. You were starting at some place called point A, shall we say, and now you're on the continuum somewhere down the road, farther on than point A. We can't pinpoint precisely for each one of you where you are because each individual is unique. Some of you incarnate into lifetimes quickly, rapidly. You exit a lifetime and then you jump right back into another lifetime. Whereas others of you tend to hang out in that soul space, that spirit form, that place of the openness and the floatingness, where it's not as physically textured as where you are now on that earth plane, and it takes you a while. And then there are those of you, not you now listening to us in human form, but those of you in spirit that incarnate and never come back again. There's no right and there's no wrong. Humans are allowed to go at their own pace. You must do what is comfortable for you. It's like when you drive on a highway. Your car might be comfortable going in the very fastest fast lane, or it might be comfortable going in the very slowest slow lane, or somewhere in between. Your lifetime incarnations are the same. And the reason you choose to keep coming back into lifetime incarnations is so that you can keep experiencing the joy and the sound and the sights and the scents and the smells and the tastes and the vibrancy all around you. Your nature is divine, your animal kingdom is divine, and your humanness is divine. We think we need to say that one more time to you. Your humanness is divine. You are glorious beings, full of love and compassion, and the brightest light of any soul possible. It might not feel that way sometimes to you there on that earth plane. You might have war, and you might have disgruntledness, and you might have hatred, and you might have greed, and you might have power play. But in the end, each of you, deep down inside, is a glorious human being striving to be your utmost and your best, day by day by day. And it's a treat for us to come and speak to those of you in this community here in this fashion, because you share a common understanding. You share a common sense of peacefulness, of calmness. Some of you are more practiced than others at touchstoning regularly with your peacefulness and your calmness. Others of you might say, I am not a meditator. I am a beginner. It doesn't matter where you are on the journey. It matters that you have intention to be. You are all here right now in this space, co-creating a universal energetic capacity of joy, of wonderment, of bliss, of calm. Let us do this exercise together. Everyone now, please, if you are able, take a nice deep breath in and exhale out completely. There. You've done it. You've exhaled out calmness like ripples on a pond, all of you, hundreds strong, moving that energy around your earth plane, with all of you as little dots, with webs connected to each other. If you do this, breathing in and breathing out and mindful thinking of peacefulness, cultivating your sense of purpose and your own sense of authentic power on a day-to-day basis, your own sense of right-minded thinking, your own sense of duty and passion and purpose, not for that ego-based, I am great power, but for your sense of How can I move forward in my life doing the best that I can, day in and day out? How can I be a good steward of my society, a good role model to my offspring? When you all do this together, you create the frequency that you desire. And you've just done it now by breathing in. Take an idea of love or peace or calmness or centeredness or stillness or Zen emptiness, as Laura likes to say. Just pick a vibrational frequency word that you would like to cultivate now and hold it in your thought form as you take another deep breath in together. And release. You have just emanated that out like a vibrational frequency calling card to everyone around you in your dwelling, your neighborhood, your city, your state, your country, and all of you together have linked arms through the network and the web of the energetic frequency that you hold when you are in this state of awareness and concentration and thoughtfulness and mindfulness. You have purpose. You matter. You make change. You affect the vibratory frequency of the earth plane. And you do it by tipping the balance into the lighter harmonic frequencies. There are lower base frequencies that are attracted to the earth plane. Those are the frequencies that are of the sticky disgruntledness. You know them as your fears. You know them as your angers. You know them as your power plays and your controls. Not your controls that are orderly and precise, but your controls that are gripping and tight. You understand. We don't need to label anything specific, but you get the sense. Even just by talking about it now, you can feel the weightiness and the heaviness of that kind of quality of vibration. We don't bring that to the energy awareness today, here and now, to cultivate that and to bring it forward. We just simply highlight that when you are in this alternate space, when you are in this place of mindful lightness, mindful positivity, mindful joyfulness, mindful connectivity together, all of you in that group, you are raising the vibrational frequency to a higher plane. It's like you're turning the dial up to 10 on the amplifier. And there is no space for the lower base vibrational frequencies to remain because the frequency is so light, so effervescent, so pure, so bright, label it as you will, that there is no space for the denser stuff and it needs to move on. There's always opportunity to notice when you have suffering and when you have sorrow and when you have pain in your lives. Your globe certainly has just come out of a massive traumatization where you were all literally physically stuck for several months. We say that in quotes, as we told you in the beginning of this talk today about our discourse on time. And yet now we see that it is freeing. Your hearts are much lighter. Your mind capacities are much more open. You have much more joy. You have much more awareness of the ability for movement. The vibrational frequency has shifted. You sense it. You don't have to speak it to know it. You can feel it. So, where are we going with all of this today? What's the point of our talking to you about all these things? Just to say, in the most basic of ways, that you are glorious because you are special, each and every one of you, in your own unique way of being you. You are divine. You are spiritually open, and you are aligned. When you sit here and you listen to these words and you do your practices and you do your stretches and you fill your bodies with the foods and the nourishment that is right for you, you are in alignment with your true selves. Your true selves know how to be successful. Your true selves know how to be in right relationship. Your true selves know what it's like to live a happy life. Some of you might be inclined to disgruntledness more frequently, and that is okay. Some of you might be inclined to anger or quick frustration more frequently, and that is okay. We don't mean to paint a picture of all graciousness and glory and la la la, angels singing and chirpy birds tweeting all the time. We understand that there's speed bumps for you in your lives. They are needed. It's important to have them. They are the contrast so that you can continue to cultivate arrival back into your centeredness, back into your peacefulness, back into your joyfulness, back into your connectedness. Yes? Yes. You are all connected here now in this beautiful way, and we like that you keep coming to these evolutionary, technologically fun abilities to communicate with each other, to be with each other, and yet not in the same space. You're geniuses. And it's amazing watching as you make these connections and these relationships and these bonds and these long-lasting friendships. It's quite remarkable. There is the ability now to begin to cultivate your mind pattern as well. You have reached a saturation limit with your technology, which we will discourse with you about another time. But we will say that you have had a tipping point where your vibrational beingness, the way that it is now, is at a maximum output for being able to absorb the technological advanced frequencies that you have set up for yourselves. You need to do some work as a society to unburden yourselves and not become automatons locked into your trance-like states of being connected to all of your technology. That is a discourse for another time, of course. But we also wish to say that we do see that you are raising offspring. Each generation that comes after you and the generations after and after and after are going to become much more adept at being free of using the technology to be the source of connection. Technology is much needed, and it should be used in these ways that it is being used now to connect. And we are not shunning it by any means. It is a glorious tool that you have all used. But now, those of you who are in this space, using this technology in this way frequently, can also begin to cultivate the mind technology. The interplay of connectedness, the thought form emanating out from the mind. I believe that my fellow humans are good and kind. I believe that I live in a kind world because I see goodness and fairness and justice and kindness around me. When you begin to cultivate those kinds of thought forms and those kinds of thought patterns, you emanate that frequency out around you and it becomes your reality. So as you sit here in this space today, in this mindfulness arena, in this technology platform that is specifically cultivated for that, we will very clearly and gently remind you that it is important for you to cultivate this mindset, this awareness of connection, this awareness of unionship, this awareness of everyone being together and connected as one when you are quote unquote off the mat. We use that as the colloquial term here because very few of you are actually sitting on a mat right now, and that is okay, but you understand what we mean. So the next time, we're giving you some homework. Heed this and try this as your exercise. The next time you come across some disgruntledness in your lives, maybe it's a news piece, maybe it's a conversation you overhear, maybe it's a rage experience with somebody driving on the road around you. Maybe it's a disgruntled human being that is with you in a line in a public place and you're a witness to their disgruntledness. Notice the base vibrational frequency that feels like for you. Notice if it's starting to pull you in at all. Are you too becoming agitated? Are you too becoming sad? Are you too becoming frustrated or disgruntled or mad? And then see if you can go back into the space of centeredness, of peacefulness, of calmness for yourself. Be that island of the neutrality or the joy or the Zen emptiness of nothingness. And if you already are in that space, as you notice the disgruntledness around you, good job. Stay there. It's that simple. We speak of this as if it's very rudimentary, and we understand that your human minds are so complex and wonderfully divine, and that it is harder for you to do so than if we just say do it. And yet it is really that base and that elemental. You don't need to take the mindfulness trainings for 1,000 days and wear the specific color of clothing for 1,000 days and chant the specific seed sound mantras for 1,000 days and eat the specific foods for 1,000 days to arrive at enlightenment. You can do those things. Please don't get us wrong. Those are all wonderful things, and do them if they move your soul to do them. And yet, you can also be in that space of joyfulness and purposefulness and mindfulness and trueness for soul self in the grocery store line when it's backed up 5 people deep and the person at the front of the line's check just bounced and they're frustrated and they forgot something in aisle 5 and they need to go back and get it. We laugh here because it sounds so absurd and yet it's so simple. Let us regroup yourselves together now as your consciousness is listening to our words. Take another deep breath in. Exhale completely. Wonderful. Cultivate that thought form again. Perhaps it is the same thought form that you had from before. Perhaps it is something new about being in a space of love and kindness and mindfulness and joyfulness and peacefulness and centeredness and balanced space for yourself. Pick a word as your moniker, hold it in your thoughts, and breathe it into your being. Release. Thank you. You are that. Thank you. You always were that. Thank you. This space, right here, right now, in this place, is a true soul self space. And we are so happy to be able to speak to you all in this way. Your technology actually allows us to come to you like a megaphone. When we first started doing this work through the voice box of this woman, Laura West, we had to come through very specifically with very different technology. It was a long time ago in terms of your evolutionary technology, fast forward warp speed development. But it just brings us so much joy to be able to be in this space with so many of you all at once. So hip, hip, hooray. Humanity, this we say, you are wonderful. You are unique, you are glorious, and you are special. Thank you for being with us today. Thank you for listening to our words. We will come back again next month, as we do every month, to celebrate and to impart wisdom and to give you guidance. You don't have to take it. It's not the end-all be-all. It is not the law. It is simply advice. And you are free to listen to it and put it to the side. You are free to listen to it and abide. You are free to take it in, absorb it, receive it, think that it's valuable, and not act upon it. It doesn't matter. Because you are your own unique soul self, and you get to decide for you. So with that, we say thank you very much for today and this co-creation of this special space and raising the vibrational harmonics of the earth plane and helping everybody to be in a joyful, more relaxed space. Until next time, we say namaste, adieu, and goodbye for now.